Okay, so the first thing to cut these lids in the bottom also is to measure. I'll always begin a little bit from the edge, about that much, maybe halfway from between that top angle and the bottom angle. So I'm going to cut this one to 8 inches, maybe a little bit under, because you do want some wiggle room in there. If you go right to the edge, there's no wiggle room at all. And for these little ones, let's do a practice test. You can check it yourself. I'm going to go right to the edge and then bring it back a little bit, like right there or so. And then I'm going to measure a little bit from the edge there. So I'm looking at around 2.5 for that one right there. So you just want to have a little bit extra room. That way it's not too tight. If you're just cutting with one blade, I do have plenty of 1/8 inch thick plywood, which will cut right in or fall right into that groove. So that's good, makes it easy. First thing I'll do is I'll move that fence to 8 inches. And then I'll take this big old strip and clear off the table saw since it is a big piece, turn on the blade, and cut this strip off. You can see my left hand's holding it up against the fence, the right hand's pushing it through, nice and easy, up until I end up getting it snagged on the back table saw. I can't push it, kind of gets caught. I just lift up slightly, still holding onto the wood. Never let go of that wood. And that's it. Cut up the strip. And now I need to bring in the sled because now I have a giant rectangle and I don't want to cut that thing, on the short edge. You always want to support the long edge of a rectangle. So that means the sled. But the first thing I'll do is going to cut off those little screw holes, those little holes on the end. Don't need a stop block for that, just chop it off. Get a clean edge. Okay, so that piece is chopped off. Now I can actually trash that and then use my ruler to mark out 8 inches. And I'll put in a stop block, only because I'm actually cutting 2 of these for the top and the bottom. If I was just cutting one, I don't need a stop block, but since I'm cutting 2 identicals, I'll use that way. It's guaranteed the same. Okay, and I check that blade. I check that right up against the blade, not against the little slot in that sled. All right, turn on all the vacuum and the saw. Bring in that sheet, pull back that sled, put it in there, make your 2 cuts, and they should be identical. All right, top and bottom is cut, perfect. And I'm gonna actually now go ahead and cut up the top and bottom for the little oak piece. I'm just gonna do a quick slight adjustment on the stop block. Just move it for the new measurements. Only takes around, 10 seconds or so to adjust a stop block. Bring in that new piece and cut up these 2 slices. And that's pretty much it. Cutting the top and bottom is a real quick process. You just got to get the right measurements. And the key thing is making it a little bit smaller than the longest part of the groove. I kind of go in between the shortest part and the longest part. If you're not 100% sure, just ask me before you cut. But they'll fit in there every time, and they should be nice and good fit, not too big, not too small. You can see here putting together this little oak box. I'll have a little bit of room all around to go into the groove, but not too much. And that's it. Now we glue them up.